What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Where the Locals Sk8. I'm your host once again, OG Skate Show, and this is a podcast where we get to know local skaters on and off the board. And today we have another guest in the house, but first, I gotta introduce the Couch Boys.
What's up, everybody? How you guys
doing?
We got
Zombie Wolf in the house holding it down. You know, Listo's taking another day off, so hopefully he's feeling well and can't wait to see him back on the show.
Right.
All right, now let's introduce our guest this week. We're going to interview local skateboarder Ryan Kulla is in the house.
What's up?
How you doing, man?
It's great to finally be here and finally meet you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hell yeah, I can't wait, man. We got an old buddy in the house, and, well, boy, oh boy, we got some questions for you. So I hope you're ready. First question I ask everybody is, what city are you repping?
I'm currently out in Murrieta.
Murrieta? Okay. Where was it when you first picked up the skateboard?
Westminster.
Westminster?
Yeah.
Okay. Who introduced you to skateboarding?
I don't know, but as early as I remember, I would ride around on push around on my knees on like those little fiberglass,
Ooh.
kind of like a penny board.
Yeah.
And I knew I was goofy-footed because of that too, because I would push Goofy on my knee.
Okay.
Launch off the speed bumps in my apartment complex. I don't know how it got started though.
Okay. Was that board already just sitting around on the pad, or?
That's the thing. I don't have any memory. I had a big wheel before that. That's all I remember.
Oh, those are fun. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. So, and then when did you start like actually participating, like going to the skate shop or picking up a real board?
So I kind of, in between that, my friends and I would just like BMX or whatever, but I got a Volterra, I think it's a Gin Demon. I tried looking into this because I couldn't remember.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was like a Target board, like a $40 Target board. So my friend and I got an 80 shape board, and that was around age 7.
Okay.
So 85. I have a picture of it on my Instagram, so like that's how I remember this.
Oh yeah.
I can see his board very clearly because he's standing on a Primo, and it's like a kamikaze board.
Ooh.
These were knockoffs, I think.
Right.
And so mine was either a Volterra or a knockoff Volterra.
Okay. But that's when you first found the passion?
So I wouldn't even, so this is why I say this is in between. So in between the knee board and this was, so I'm learning to stand up. I have an 80 shape board.
This is just kind of like still a toy for you?
It's just growing up in Southern California, everybody gets a skateboard at some point, whatever your friends are doing. Yeah. So, I mean, I had a scooter, like one of those big fat wheel scooters.
Did it have handbrakes and all that stuff?
The handbrakes, all of that. So I kind of had all three of these things, like a bike, that.
Yeah, it had that fiberglass like kicker or not, like a board on it.
Yeah.
Metal. It's almost like bike handlebars too on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those were kind of cool. My cousins had those.
So, but I did learn how to ollie on this board a few years later.
Cool.
So, I think because my friend didn't know anything about skateboarding, he didn't tell me anything about skateboarding, so we just kind of just rode around.
Okay.
Didn't try to do tricks, but eventually I did ollie up a curb on it.
That's cool.
And then I'll tell you later, like when I moved, like that's when I got into
so
passion.
You are goofy footed?
Yes.
Okay, that's rad.
So you said, did you just learn to ollie up the curb, or did you go through that whole process where you have to like kind of just stand there and then go through it, or just you just gung-hoed it into?
Yeah, so I remember like kids on my block would have, like they would tie a bike inner tube around their feet and over the board, and they would just jump.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't know how I knew, like, that's not how you do it. But I knew how to bunny hop up a curb, so I'm like, I'm going to learn how to ollie up a curb.
Right.
And so my house in Westminster, on the corner, there was like a, kind of like a curb cut type thing where you could start on the crack part.
Yeah.
And you can go up a little bit higher, and then eventually all the way up onto the top.
Yeah.
And that's when I remember is I ollied up that curb by myself, nobody around. It was like the feeling of doing a kickflip. I was like, I ollied up a curb.
It's like you kind of like landing, you look around, and you're like, damn, nobody's around to watch.
Yeah.
But I did it.
Exactly.
You know?
So then we moved, and that's when I met some friends and got into it.
Shout out to them, man. Where did you move to?
So I moved to Huntington Beach, into the Ocean Breeze Apartments off Warner.
Oh.
So this is like where later on like the Piss Drunx like moved into. They moved into right after I moved out.
Oh.
Unfortunately, but.
Yeah. Well, maybe fortunately.
Or maybe fortunately.
Yeah, because what if you would have hung out with them? I mean.
It could have gone good or bad.
It could have went a little, you know.
That's
hey,
true.
Who knows?
I did stay kind of on a pretty
clean,
straight path, so maybe that was for the best.
That's right. You never know where this life's gonna take you, but man, these roads are sometimes they're meant to be, man. Hell yeah.
So I think I had the passion in me because I still didn't have friends yet that skated, and on my 13th birthday, I was like, Mom, can you take me to get a skateboard? Mm-hmm. And I thought I was getting a real board this time, like, because it's now 1991.
Okay.
And so I went to Captain Lou's hobby shop, which is, I don't know if you remember, but Beagle, he got his first board there too.
Okay.
I talked to him about this, and he thought it was pretty cool.
That's right.
So almost nobody knows about this place because it's a hobby shop, not a real skate shop.
Okay.
I still didn't know what I was doing. So Captain Lou was a cool guy. He sold me this board. I thought it was the best. I take it to my new junior high.
Uh-oh.
And my friends are like, what is that?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a weird shape.
Kids are honest, man. Oh.
But, you know, they were like, you got to get a real board. So there's this kid at school named Boyd whose cousin's supposedly with Jason Lee.
Okay.
And so we went to his house, and he's got all these hand-me-down boards.
Right.
They're all blind. I'm like, this guy does not skate, so I kind of believe him because these boards are used like crazy. Right. He doesn't skate.
Yeah.
And he sold me like a blind, I think, Jason Lee Cat in the Hat.
That sounds cool.
That was a good graphic right there. I remember that one growing up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's cool, man. And that was your first real board?
First real board was this used board. And then they introduced me to the real skate shop, which Pat Chinita and Jeremy Ray were just talking about. It's called Bud's Pro Skate. I think it was called Bud's Pro Skate and Surf off of Beach and Warner.
Okay.
It's not there anymore.
Wow.
But it was like they would sell roller skates, like real quad roller skates,
right.
And they would sell boards, and like pros would come in there, like for sure we would see pros in there.
That's
so it was
cool.
It was technically a legit skate shop.
Right. Yeah, I remember my first skateboard. We drove all the way to Huntington Beach. I don't remember the name of the shop, but it was like a surf shop, but they had skateboards in there. You know, I remember that being my experience, and it was so far and expensive. And my mom being like, "You better make this thing last." I was like, "All right." Oh yeah. Well, that's cool, man. That's cool that you remember that. And pros coming in, who do you remember seeing walking in there?
So unfortunately, I don't remember any like the specific names. My friends who were way more advanced were like, "That's so and so." Everywhere we would go to Huntington Beach High. That's Rodney Mullen. I have no idea who you're talking about. So I just was like, "Cool."
I was in the same boat, man, because like my friend always showed me the videos in the magazines and stuff like that. Like these guys too. Now, if we go somewhere, they'll be like, "That's a pro guy. That's a pro guy." Okay, cool. Like most of the time, I might recognize them, but I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's their name?" Like I don't remember their name or something, you know. So, yeah,
exactly.
I was in that same boat. What about? Did you have like favorite videos? Did you ever start watching the videos and get hype?
So they introduced me first to Hocus Pocus. Ooh. I mean, it's already been out a couple years at this point because it's like 1991. And then shortly after that, Plan B Questionable came out. And that was the first, like, holy shit, like, I'm watching it over and over. Mm-hmm. The music, everything about it, and, like, trying to now, I need to learn how to do this stuff.
Yep.
That's cool. Questionable is the one that has that Primus song in it, right? Yeah. Where he's trying to hit that rail in the rain?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And of course Pat Duffy was like, and still is like, top 3 easily favorite.
Dude, at the when it's like Primus, like all slow mo, you're like, this is shit. Yeah. Like, and then it's like they play that song when he's all going slow mo down.
Yeah.
You're like, are you kidding me? Like, so good.
Dude, just watching him, like, hit that rail back to back to back in the rain, I was just like, wow, this is impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this in my later years, you know, like, I'm in my 20s, because I never took my time. And then finally saw it, it's a great video, man.
Yeah. Man, those are good days, man. Did you have a favorite pro during those times, too? When you did find somebody to, like, your friend was like, that's so-and-so.
Yeah, Ed Templeton.
My new pro.
For sure. Cool. So he lived right around the corner, kind of, and we would skate this place called Golden View, these little, kind of like a curb, really long ledge, and he would just pop out of his house, you'd see him with a filmer, start doing some stuff on the thing, and we're just like sitting there going, like watching a real demo, basically. Wow. And so seeing somebody actually skate, a pro skate, like you're like, oh my God. Like
that's cool.
So he instantly became like my favorite.
You guys never, like, interacted with them, like, when he would come out or anything?
At most, he would, like, I was such a spaz, so I was trying to get out of the house because I was such a hyper kid. It was a little dysfunctional family, loving, but dysfunctional. So just trying to be out skating all day, and so I was...
A lot of us can relate.
Yeah, I had anger issues, probably. I was focusing my boards and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, like, just don't be a spaz, chill out.
Yeah.
Which didn't work. Like I continued to be one, but that was my only interaction with him, I think.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It's still pretty cool, you know. You like just to have like your favorite pro just come and say anything to you, you know.
Yeah. I tried to take it to heart, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe like I'm aware of this. Like I'm being a certain way.
Yeah.
I've had a pro skater point out, you know, something to me because, you know, going up to him, asking him for a photo or something, and, you know, not really waiting for the right moment or introducing myself. Like he said, he's like, hey, the proper way is to be like, hello, my name is.
Right.
And I was like, oh, damn, okay. So kind of put me in a position where I was like, gave me a life lesson, you know.
Absolutely.
Like now I go up to people with respect, and that way I could get the same back. So
yeah,
that's cool, man. But yeah, so you didn't stop spazzing until when?
I think it was like we were talking about, like just drinking soda all day and out skating. I was just hyper on sugar.
The hyperness. Okay.
I don't know when I calmed down. Really, I don't know if I ever have.
It's like something that kind of just like still stays with you because
yeah.
I kind of have that ADHD where I'm all over the place, and then sometimes I have like really weird little tics. But yeah, I notice it's like you notice them, and then you try to control them, but then you forget that you're doing it, and then you start just doing it again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. It probably is ADD. I never got like checked. So.
We'll be like, oh dang,
yeah.
He get Huberman over here. He'll be like, I got you, bro.
Dude, I always tell everyone ADD is an advantage. It's like, especially if you're a skater or you're an active person, it just plays to your advantage so much because you can just keep skating, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Get like hyper focus.
Yeah. Especially if you find something you're really into, like if you're into music or something, like you just like go like with horse blinders into it, like try to become the best at it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I approach everything I do.
That's the best, man. Shout out to that. Hell yeah. Do you, what's your board setup like back then? What were you purchasing at the skate shop?
So, definitely Alien Workshop, Black Label, New Deal. I don't know if I was buying New Deal. I just remember it being up on the wall.
Oof.
But I was big into Plan B, Alien, and Black Label, and Blind.
All right. Trucks. Do you remember what trucks?
Don't remember the trucks. They were probably like Tracker, something like that. Yeah. Whatever was popular in '91.
I remember Ventures were pretty popular back then. Like I was a Venture trucks guy for a while, and then Destructor came out and it kind of took over.
I got big into Destructor in the late '90s, but in the early '90s, I think it was Venture and Tracker type stuff.
Destructors were the original ones that brought out the Allen key, right?
I think,
or were those Grind Kings?
I think those those might be Grind Kings because Destructors just had the big fat hangers that you didn't scrape your bolt anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. But you did have to ollie a little bit more because it had a little more meat on it. So yeah, it could take you out if you didn't know the proper that little millimeter or whatever it was. That's cool, man. What about what size wheels were you riding back then?
They were tiny. Probably. I don't remember. They were definitely in the 40s.
Woo! I missed those, man. Yeah.
I remember they were Spitfire, though.
Spitfires?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, honestly, after my trip to Oakland, or the Bay, I realized that all these wheels are set up for different cities where they're made. Because I was riding Bones through the Bay, and my feet were just hurting from all the brick.
Oh,
and then I'm like, now I know why they give them softer wheels out here, because I've ridden Spitfires and I noticed they're softer. So that's why I never liked them, because they would wear down faster.
Oh yeah, we get a lot of flat spots.
Yeah.
Hit rocks and I would go flying, which is really what was making me the most pissed when I would skate.
Right.
Hitting a little crack, little rock, and then that would just drive me nuts when I was trying to learn a trick, and that's when I would spaz out on my board and throw it and chip it. And we did not have money growing up, so it was the same thing. It was like, you better make this last.
Right.
Which I didn't.
Right.
Hey, but it's crazy because as a skater, somehow you always find a way to get a board. Whether it's a hand-me-down or somehow you get hooked up with one. You always end up with the board under your feet somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those flat spots, man, I can't stand having a flat spot. Once I get one, it's over for me. If I'm at, especially a nice smooth skate park, it's just like da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Nope. Time for a new set.
Yeah, I don't play with flat spots anymore.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Skate crew growing up. Who were your boys back then?
So the same guys that introduced me to like a real skateboard and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Mike Wakefield, Chad, and me, really. And then there was another guy who we would skate with who lived a little farther away. Mm-hmm. He would kind of be ancillary support, like another guy named Mike.
Dang, that's cool, man. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. And how long have you guys been skating together, would you say?
We only skated together, so like from like 13 to like, I don't know, 14 and a half. Mm-hmm. And then unfortunately, as the story goes, I live on this side of town. I go to Ocean View High School. Uh-huh. They all go to Marina High School on the other side. And I focused my board, being a spaz, and got mad and snapped it. Mom not buying another one. And so they kind of would come around, you got a board, and I'd be like, no, not yet. And then just kind of drifted apart into school. And then kind of went solo mission for a while until I moved back to Westminster.
Okay. Was there a time that you put the skateboard down, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I got heavily into martial arts again.
Okay.
So, like for a year, I'm just doing this.
Okay.
And then Puente Park had just got built.
Yeah.
And I went over to it because it was right around near the school and the studio, and I was like, I don't really like this. So. Yeah. And then my friend I heard got like hurt really bad there, and he quit skating.
Wow.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like I talked to him on Facebook years later, and he's like, yeah, I put the board down then.
Wow, what kind of injury did he get that made him quit?
Somebody else's board, I heard, like flew up and hit him right in the forehead.
Oh.
Like really, really bad.
That can happen. And if they have a razor tail, it's over. Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, just getting hit in the face with the skateboard is not cool.
Trust me, I know. I got this scar right here. I was trying to kickflip an 8, hit a rock. As soon as I like lifted up, my board just whacked me in the head. And it's not the business.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What about nowadays? You skating? You still on the board now?
Yeah, I'm still kind of like how I've always been, where like, the saying keep pushing. Like that's all I've always kept doing. So even when I put the board down, I would still push.
Right.
I just wasn't doing tricks or hanging out with people.
Okay.
Or following it very religiously.
Right.
But there's a local skate shop out here in Temecula called Overcast.
Okay.
And so the owner, his name's Robert, goes by Woody. Shout out Rudy. He's like, come skating with us. And so I don't skate with him a lot, but that's basically when I do, I know I have them. I can go to the skate shop, meet up.
Yeah. That's rad. That's close to where you're at now?
Yeah.
That's cool. Shout out to them, man. Is there a local skate park you visit?
I've never been into skate parks.
Okay.
I mean, I would if I lived when I go to San Diego, I love the Encinitas parks.
Yeah. And
LA has some good parks, but I live in Temecula. I don't really like our parks very much.
Okay.
We do have like the Lake Elsinore ones that are pretty good. So I will go there once in a blue moon. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it just always feels right just to be out skating in the street or school.
Ooh, street. Nice. Can we get a battery for the light?
Oh.
Yeah. It turned off, or it was never on?
It was never on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No wonder it was so pleasant.
And then that one's not on either.
Oh, you're going to be on a good one now, dude. Sheesh. This is what happens when you record, see? Never know. I could have sworn I seen it dim out, like, ding.
No, I just noticed it. I noticed it when we started and we got far into it, so I was just like...
You're not going to mention it now?
I was like, we're already filming like that.
Now I got me sweating again. I just calmed down and now the lights are not on.
I think I'm white enough to like brighten the whole room.
This is the part you could edit around now.
Yeah.
We'll add it in post.
It will add it in post. There we go. All right. So back to it again. So you're more of a street guy then instead of going to the parks.
Yes.
That's cool. Because I see in your Instagram posts, you're mostly doing a lot of flat ground stuff.
Yeah, I don't really post a lot because I don't really do a lot of tricks anymore. So when I do, I'll just go in my garage.
Right. And I see you have like a little something, maybe a little kicker or something you have. Or...
Yeah, I got rid of it because it was taking up too much space and I couldn't do much with it. Okay. But yeah, that's another reason that I film that way is I don't have a filmer. Like, unless I go hang out with those guys at the skate shop.
Right. All right. Yeah, but still, like at least you're still pushing around too.
Yeah.
That's everything right there. Because once you're a skater, that's for life, I believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you have any dream sponsors while you were growing up? Like,
I never thought I would get sponsored or tried to get sponsored. I never had a sponsor me tape. Mm-hmm. Back then, people barely ever filmed you.
Yeah.
So my friend got sponsored by like Hard Goods Skate Shop out in Huntington.
Okay.
But no, I just never thought I would. When I watched those Plan B videos, I was like, "There's no way I'm ever gonna be that good." So I'm just gonna have fun and just hang out.
Yeah, when virtual reality came out, I was like, "It's over, it's over." And then later too, when I saw Midik Madi and Sari,
yeah,
I was like, "Okay, this is where it's." And it's still progressing too. I just can't. You never think that, like, even rap, like you thought they would rap every word by now, and no, you can still keep doing it different.
Right.
Just use the word in the same different way.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you look at skateboarding now, like, I'm watching the youngsters, like the younger kids come up, and I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, the tricks they're doing are things I wouldn't even have thought of doing when I started skateboarding. Like, you would think like that's what like a super advanced pro is doing, but now you're watching them do it at 10, 9 years old. You're watching them big flip, big spin out on a rail. You're just like, what the hell?
Maybe that's the thing. Like, I don't know if they're built different or they're just starting earlier before they have a sense of like, I could die doing this. Like, because by the time I was trying, I was already a teenager and I was kind of more self-aware. Like, I can get hurt.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like when you're young, you're fearless. You don't care. You're a rebel. You're always going against the grain. You're like, nothing can happen to you.
Yeah.
And sure enough, like you said, the older you get, you go, wow, well, I could get hurt. You get to my age now, I won't even get on a roller coaster no more. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of roller coasters either.
I've been seeing too many, because maybe now it's so, everybody has a camera phone, so maybe back then when we were growing up, we didn't see all the rides that got stuck, people upside down for hours. Now you're seeing them all over the place. You're like, nope.
I think a big factor, too, that pushed me to, like, calm down with skating was I had to stop them. I had to unfollow them was Hall of Meat. I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I was watching them. I was like, it was just popping up on my feet every time. I was like, yeah, no. Especially because I've already been through my fair share of injuries,
Yeah.
And then another thing, too, is, like, these younger kids, I just found out that in Japan, they've created skate schools where they just literally just go to skate. They skate, like, 4 hours a day, and then the rest of the days they're learning how to edit clips, how to design boards, how to do all this crazy stuff. And I'm just like, Jesus.
Advanced.
There's this guy that I know who lives by me, Andrew, who was telling me he grew up in a different part of Orange County and they had skate school. Like, they were getting credit for it and they had pros come out of there.
Yeah.
I was like, you're lucky, because I was going to Ocean View. Skateboarding was not allowed. You could not bring your skateboard to school. You were treated terribly if you skated back then.
Yeah. God, I remember at my school too. It wasn't cool to be a skater, but
yeah, I grew up right in like the end of it before it started. Before like Nyjah kind of just came out and changed all that for everyone. But it'd be amazing, if more schools could bring out programs like that to help, extracurricular activities. Because I think that's one thing they took away from schools too. Like, now you can't do wood shop, auto, you can't do like pottery anymore because they take them all away. And now what do they have?
Right.
To keep them busy.
And that's the thing, is skateboarding was keeping me out of trouble, even though I was running from the cops sometimes doing it.
Right.
It was keeping me out of trouble, and they didn't understand that that's what it was actually doing for us. They thought we were getting into trouble.
Right. Yeah. Or we would be like out in the streets and just causing mayhem.
Or partying or getting into drugs and stuff.
I mean, we might be scratching some paint off of some stuff, but
yeah, we weren't angels, but we weren't devils.
Yeah. Accidentally may have broken a window here and there, but not on purpose.
Yeah.
And just run out of there before you can get caught. It's kind of exciting, as a kid.
Like that Jamie Thomas one where he gets the ad on that window and he busted right through it and sends him the check for $500.
Yeah, anonymous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hell yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. How about if you could have traveled anywhere to skate? Do you have any place you would want to travel?
In this day and age?
In this day and age, maybe even back in the day?
Probably Barcelona, just from hearing so much about it on the Nightclub.
Right.
Dude, yeah. That place is like a mecca, like a city. Like, you just go there and it's just skaters everywhere.
Built for it, but that plaza is beautiful.
I mean, back then, so once I stopped hanging out with my skate crew, they later on told me, because when I caught up with them in the future, we used to go to the World Park. Day One would drive us, and and all this stuff. And they're like, Jason Dill knew me, and he has a nickname for me, and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm sure you did, because you guys were like really good.
Right.
and they kept hanging out and skating, and I just kind of drifted away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if I could go back, I would have kept in touch somehow with them and got to go to that, got to hang out with, they were hanging out with like Keenan and Gino and all these people.
Wow.
I remember they once took me to their apartment. They're like, this is Gino, and I believe they said Keenan and Eric Pupepi.
Wow.
This is their apartment. We're going to go knock on their door. I'm like, why? Because I was a shy kid, and they're just like, we're just going to go. So I was always just kind of standing there and like in awe and just kind of watching them interact with people. And then I'm like, I don't know how you do that shit. Like, so that's what I would do.
Hell yeah. That's cool, man. What about now if you could take a vacation without skateboarding? Do you have any plans on, like, you or a place you want to visit? Take the wife?
Yeah, I mean, our favorite place is to go to Sedona.
Sedona?
They have a skate park out there, so
Okay.
I'm probably going to actually bring my board next time I go.
That's cool. Oh, yeah.
Real quick, I was going to ask. So you said they went up and knocked on there. Did you guys go skate somewhere, or they just knocked, or they weren't home, or?
I don't remember it. I was probably just so insecure and shy that I wasn't really paying too much attention. I was just kind of like, can we go? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
It's like, this is their door. Knock, knock, knock. Later.
I do remember Jason Dill tried to sell me some wheels, like some used wheels at Golden View once.
Uh-huh.
But back then, like, they weren't legends yet, really. They were just, these are
The locals.
really good locals, pros, whatever.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, it wasn't too crazy, but I do remember that, and so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, we would see pros all the time and just not think too much of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though because I always stayed away from them. I was just like, I'm gonna do my thing over here.
Right.
Like they'll do their thing over there. Like Chet Thomas was always at Huntington High,
Mm-hmm.
and he was filming, so I would be like to stay out of the way.
Right.
And that was pretty much it. Like I didn't really ever interact with them.
Huntington High was like a place you could always bump into somebody, man. Like, me and the homie going there, and he'd be like, dude, Andrew Reynolds right there, bro. Andrew. I'm like, oh, cool. But like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go skate this little jib in the back real quick.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a kook, so I was just like, I knew I would be if I interacted with them, so I'm just like,
Yeah, back then it's
don't.
different, yeah.
Yeah, and they weren't probably as nice back then in the day.
Mm-hmm. Be like,
Didn't wanna find it.
they're trying to get their trick, and you're over here like, what's up, dude? Like,
Yeah.
come on, bro.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the new La Puente Park is. Like, you can go there and just randomly catch all these pros. Like, I've already seen Dave Paczynski, Stevie Perez, seen Scapegoat. And it's just random days we roll up and they're just chilling there, and I'm just like, same thing, Oh, I'm gonna let them do this thing. I'm not gonna get in the way. They're probably filming.
Yeah.
You don't want to bug them,
The only real interaction that it wasn't even that real. It was like Duran in 2003-ish.
Okay.
I would skate this abandoned building off Wilshire,
Okay.
and he just showed up by himself one day.
Wow.
And again, I didn't know who he was, unfortunately, at the time.
Right.
But the people that I was skating with were like, that's chocolate, like girl, whatever.
Yeah.
I think they said that. And I was like, and so I just watched him skate, and he would like, again, remind me why I'm not a pro or never going to try to be. It's like unbelievable. Like pop, like this high,
Wow. Has Drawn heard that story yet?
I might have mentioned it once.
Okay.
I don't know if he would remember that.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah. But that's still a cool story to
Yeah.
have.
And I remember him being nice. I remember him being the first, like, I'm like, pros are cool, or they can be really cool. Because he was, like, applauding, like, nice. Like, I would try on this fakey tail on this ledge.
Okay.
And I was just getting into it. I don't think I even landed it.
Right.
And he was, like, he's applauding. I'm like, wow,
That's cool.
what a good guy.
Yeah. Shout out to Jerron, man. He's always been a favorite of mine on the show, man.
Yeah.
Hell
Shout
yeah.
out.
He seems like a cool dude. I mean, just personality from the way he presents himself. And then the one time I met him at the 20-year thing, he seemed really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And for me to remember this 20 years later,
Yeah.
like, it goes to show, like, be nice to people. Like,
Right.
Oh, yeah, and it is true, because to this day, I still remember my one bad experience with Tony Trujillo. He was always one of my favorite skaters, and after that, I was like, you know what? You're a shitty person, but I respect your skateboarding.
You might have just had a bad day. You never know.
After I heard
never
stories
know.
from everyone else, he had that Motley Crue rock star, I'm good kind of personality, and I was just like, But his personality turned me off towards him.
That's the thing. That's another reason I'm kind of glad I didn't ever get pro or famous or anything, because how does it change you? You never know. Like, and maybe it's only a phase, and you don't know how to handle it, but I don't.
Just wait till this podcast blows up. I'm gonna be tripping out there, people.
You're about to find out.
No,
it's like, what happened to Skate Show? He used to be so nice.
and no, what you're saying, it is true, because at one point in my life, you know, I started picking up sponsors and like traveling with teams and everything. You know, I started thinking like, oh, I'm better than everyone, or and then I had to humble myself, you know.
Yeah. Well, people start dropping you from somewhere. Next thing you know, you're like, what did I do something? Or, you know, you never know. Like, and then like they say all the time, like, I don't think you have to be the best skater. You just got to be a cool dude, and people have to want to have you in the van, as they say, you know, like,
yeah,
you know. And I was fortunate enough to be like, I used to go skate with some people, and, you know, all of us, there's like 15 people that want to go to like Huntington High, right? But the guy used to say that I'm only going to take people that can either kick flip or tray flip, right? Because, you know, we're going to go to this place, we want to get some stuff. And lucky enough, I couldn't do those tricks at the time. I was a heel flipper, and luckily I was cool enough. He's like, you can come with us. Come on. I was like, yeah, what's up? I don't even have to tray flip. I get in the car. Hell yeah. But that's how far your personality could go sometimes, you know. You just got to be cool.
Yeah.
You know, so goes to show, you know. Like I said, I wasn't the best skater, but I wanted to hang out and be not in anybody's face and let them do their thing. And,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, even sometimes being the quiet, chill dude can get you onto those trips. Because that's how I started, you know. I was just always quiet to myself. Mm-hmm. But I guess a lot of time, you know, they see your dedication towards what you're doing, the way you skate, and they like it. They're like, yeah, I like that dude. Maybe I'm going to take him with me. He probably has potential, so see if we can get him to flourish or something.
Oh, yeah.
That is how I would meet friends anywhere I would go.
Yeah.
Like when I would move, I would immediately make new friends because it was just, you're skating,
mm-hmm.
you're kind of keeping to yourself a little bit, and you're just being nice to be around, and always would find new skate friends.
Yeah.
It happened a lot, man. I met a lot of, like, these guys right here, met them through skateboarding when I came back to skateboarding. So, I mean, now we're got a show we're doing together. I didn't grow up with these guys, but now, shit, because of skateboarding.
Yeah, it would be cool if, like, I still could skate with those guys. So, like, that's why I looked them up on Facebook, like, six or 7 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was like, maybe they still skate.
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with them in front of my apartments once, like, we're going to skate forever. Like, you know how kids are, like, we're never going to quit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I was the only one that didn't quit, but kind of never really stayed
out.
Like, I wasn't trying to progress either. I just never quit. But one of them was like, I snowboard now, and the other one's like, I just put it away.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one, the one that I didn't skate with as much, he drove out once just when I was living in San Diego, and we skated at OB Skate Park.
Okay.
But, you know, he's got a family and like a full-time job and all that too,
yeah.
so we didn't really keep in touch. But I'm going to try to reach out to him again and see if he's still skating.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't think it ever leaves you, though. No matter how much you can say, I quit, you just kind of like, I feel like it's just a hiatus.
Yeah.
Because I met so many people, they're all like, oh yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't touch it. And then a couple of years go by. Next thing you know, you see them on the board again. You're like,
right.
Sometimes it just takes that right person or something that they've seen, or they feel like, oh dang, maybe like a midlife crisis. I want to get back on the board.
Exactly.
Or it
kids,
can be like
they have kids that are starting to skate, and then they go, oh, I used to be able to do that. Check it out. And then fire in their butt, and it's on.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that happened to me, man. I couldn't ollie up a curb anymore, and I was like, this is, I can't have that. I'm better than that.
Oh, I got to that point too where I couldn't ollie up a curb, and I'm like, that's one thing I'm never gonna let myself lose. Like, you know how people are like, I'll never stop tray flipping. I'm like, I can stop tray flipping, but I'm never gonna stop ollieing a curb.
Ollieing a curb, at least, man, at least.
And then if I can't do that, it'll just be flat ground manual. It'll be something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I do have I noticed that you do a lot of manis.
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorite things to skate?
Yeah, I figured it out in like the late 90s.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this is just a cool feeling. So that's why I do anything. I don't like to do tricks that, like, I'll film them and then I'll be like, I'm done with that for a while because it's too much impact, too much pain.
Right.
And I'm not trying to progress. So like, there's certain tricks that just always feel good, and that's manis are one.
Manis are one. Do you do the nose wheelie as well?
Not as much anymore, but I still do them.
Okay.
But I'll do them, but not as much. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because some of the mani guys, man, they just they could either they do it a lot and they do it clean. That's what I like about it. Like, you know, Afar. Shout out to Afar. He's a mani guy. He be manning everywhere. Almost every clip or somewhere he goes. I was like, he's getting a nice
mani.
mani.
Getting a mani in.
Yep. Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, shout out for sure.
Shout out to the old buddies out
watch
there.
his
We got
episode.
an old buddy in the house, man. I can't. Ryan Kulla's in the house. I can't believe it, man. All the way from Murrieta.
And it's crazy because I always hear him talking about you too, and I'm like, who is this guy? Now we finally get to meet.
See, I hope the chat is now on this show and saying hello to us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's how we met.
Yeah, I think they'll be excited to see you on the show. Especially like I'm wondering if the Nightclub is gonna mention it on their show. You know what I mean? Because they've been a little quiet about me over there.
I hear them talk about you sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. It's on their private shows, because we get the show if you're a channel member. We get those days where Chris is setting up his board and we're all chatting to him and stuff, and they can answer back. But yeah.
And shout out to them for getting people back into skating. Like that, they got me back. Too. Like when I was posting clips, it was because of them. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna dust off some tricks.
Shout out, man. Yeah, they've gotten so many people back on the board, back interested in skateboarding. Like me, I wasn't a guy that was involved with all the skaters, skateboarders, all the interviews and stuff like that. Now that they have a show, man, I know a lot more now. Because I just enjoy watching the show. Yeah.
It's filling in a lot of the gaps of stuff that I didn't know. Because I just wasn't paying attention all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was your first exposure to the Nightclub? How'd you get introduced to it? And
that's a good question.
It just popped into my YouTube feed one day.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I didn't even click on it. Honestly, I was just kind of like, what's that thumbnail? And then I was trying to watch something else, so I just watched something else. And then it kept coming back into my feed. It was like, apparently, the algorithm knew you should watch this.
Right.
So eventually I watched it, and then I saw that they had a chat, came out, and then you, Stumpy, and OG, and what was it, Goddess Graphics?
Okay.
Were the first few people that I met.
Right.
In that chat.
Stumpy Mason, yeah.
Yeah, and then Stumpy, I remember him saying hi, and he was so nice, and I was just like, oh, this is a good little community here.
Yeah.
Because usually chats aren't super friendly.
Yeah, that's true.
But that one was, and it's thanks to you guys.
Yeah, man, that community right there is super cool. You might have a little straggler fall into there, but they take care of that.
Yeah, they're still there. And I was that kid when I first got on the internet, in the 90s, oops. This is gonna be fun. Nobody can see me. I'm gonna be a dick.
Damn! Whoa!
It's like that troll episode from South Park.
Yeah.
Is that the pops?
Yeah, when no one knows who's the trolling everyone in the town, and it ends up being the dad. He just sits there, puts on some Chicago glass of wine, and just goes to town on everyone.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I tried to just think these are probably just kids, and they're just having fun. Whatever.
Yeah.
They'll grow out of it.
Yeah, hopefully, man. Because that's kind of crazy, man. Just interrupting like that. It's rude.
Yeah. And when you do grow out of it, anything you do wrong in life, you'll feel bad. You'll carry that on your conscience forever if you have a conscience.
Right.
Which most people do. So just check yourself. You don't want to carry that your whole life. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of people out there Cooper Neal Art, there's a Sticks Champion out there.
Yeah.
He's been on the show.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, just supporting me as well, buying shirts and stuff, and I'm sending them out to them. And, it's shout out to everybody that's supporting me and now supporting the show. And that, we all met through the Nightclub, so.
It's crazy how because I always hear you talking about the old buddy community.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's because we're doing the show and we're bringing some of the old buddies on, I'm meeting these dudes, and I'm like, dude, you guys are some of the raddest dudes out there that I've met so far.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a great community, man. Everybody's super chill. Everybody's got each other's back in there, it's cool. It's cool.
Dude, earlier I was going through your Instagram too, and I've noticed that we've been at some of these same events together. And
really?
I saw you at the Active Go Skate Day.
Yeah.
You were standing right there by the container. You were filming. And I was like, oh, dude. I was telling Skate Show, me and my buddies were right there. One of my buddies is on top trying to ollie off the container. And I was watching some other events too. And I was like, wow, what a trip. Because I saw the picture.
It's a small world, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw a picture of you that you took of Chris Roberts interviewing my buddy Victor Brooks.
Yeah. Yeah, he mentioned that when I posted that. I remember that. I didn't introduce myself to any of those guys, so I still haven't formally met any of them.
Really? Even Chris Roberts?
They I think they waved at me because I was wearing this hat.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to stay out of the way. I don't.
Wow. Yeah. If I see Chris Roberts now, I'm like, "What's up, dude?" He's like, "Oh, gee, what's up, man?" You know, he's cool. He's cool.
I'd say hi now because like I can actually introduce myself,
right?
And not just be like, "All right."
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Now because now they know who you are.
It'll happen one of these days.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I wasn't sure if you were gonna go do the Nightclub after this, so I didn't know if you're in town for that as well. So I'm like, hopefully we post it first. Yeah, man.
I mean, well, it seems cool. Like the way the love the Nightclub has for you guys. Like they treat you guys like you guys are pretty much part of their family.
Right.
Like they've known you for like the way they talk about you guys. It's like they've known you guys for years.
Yeah, it feels like we know each other for sure.
Yeah. Cause, I mean, they've sent you some packages as well, man. It's rad.
Raj, especially, like hooking it up with like whatever you can find. Anytime you buy anything too, like he'll just like throw some. If he can, he'll throw some extras in there and stuff. He's always been good like that. Yeah,
he's like especially when they're shipping out of from where they're recording. Yeah, you always like if he sees your name, he's like, oh shit,
yeah.
Stuff.
Well, I mean that's cool though that they take their time to recognize their viewers when they're shipping out to them and then be like, hey, here's a little. It's like when you used to go to the skate shop and you buy a board and the guy's like, hey, here's a stack of stickers.
Right.
And as a kid, you're just so hyped because it's a stack of stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best, man. Shout out to them again.
Yeah, big shout out to everybody on the Nightclub, everybody that watches it.
Hell yeah. Hope they're turning in today. Hell yeah. Also, I know we wanted to bring up that you have like a shirt who made that shirt? The Kulla looks like a rugby.
So Charlie made it.
Charlie
okay. Cameron.
Yeah. Oh, shout out.
Yeah, shout out Charlie.
He's in like Canada or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I asked him to be on the show, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not in town." And I was like, "Oh, damn."
What's the story behind that? Because I saw it too, and I was like, "That's pretty cool. They made him a shirt."
I think the story was like LD was like, "Oh, we should make a shirt that says Kulla." Like when I called in,
mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, Charlie, like he's always on top of everything.
Right.
Like, makes something, so he made like a mock-up of it.
Mock-up, right?
And then all of a sudden, like it shows up like.
Did they open it in the green room when they're doing the green room?
Yeah, he sent it to them. I think he asked me first, like, do you want this or do you want me to give it to them? And I said, no, send it to them,
Yeah.
And so they had it and they opened it on the green room. And then when the experience show ended, Raj sent it to me, so I have it now.
That's so rad.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the best. So cool. Like Charlie, big shout out. I'm sure he would come on if he was
Oh
out
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah.
I think he might be trying to work his way out here eventually. I don't know. He told me something about that.
That'd be cool, man. He does a lot, man. He mocks up those photos pretty fast now with that AI, like, oh my God. I just be having a blast watching those things.
Yeah, it's so fun.
And another guy, too, that does all the animation.
Yeah, Reese G.
Is that those episodes where they turn them into, like, little cartoons and, like, they over-exaggerate everything they're doing?
Yeah.
I've been loving those things lately when I see them.
Yeah. Anything like artistic like that, I wish I had those skills because I would be all over that.
Me too. I mean, man, maybe one day if I get enough pull at my job, I could start like making some huge banners or something for them or somebody, like.
That'd be pretty cool, a big old banner for the Nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's go on to. Favorite shoe? Did you have a favorite shoe to skate in?
I don't think so. I wasn't a shoe guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like boards were already too expensive. Like my mom was a waitress and somehow she would buy me, boards. They've always been $130 pretty much.
Yeah, for a whole complete. Yeah.
Right. So I wasn't trying to ask for anything extra.
Right.
Like even like the $200 like school clothes money we got.
Oh yeah.
Every summer, like that would be like 3 skate items, like a pair of jeans and like a couple shirts, and I didn't think about shoes. So I was just rocking like probably Airwalks and Vans for sure, because the Vans warehouse was like I think out in Orange.
Okay.
I didn't have a favorite shoe to skate in. I just skated. I didn't think about the shoe.
Didn't think about the shoe. Didn't matter to you. That's cool because some shoes are important to some people, man. Like they have to have a certain feel, style, or whatever.
Yeah, nowadays I care a little bit more.
Right. What are you rocking now?
Right now I'm wearing the Foys.
Oh.
The New Balance.
Sick.
I lift my leg up, but
We're gonna have to start doing some yoga in here to get that up.
Oh man, I was like, let me back up real quick, mate.
Yeah, New Balance, America, Those are pretty much the 3 that I'm skating most of the time.
Hell yeah.
Because I have a wide foot.
Okay. Yeah, me too, man. I can't be getting into those skinny like Adidas or anything like that.
The slimmer shoes.
The slimmer shoes, yeah.
I really wanted to. I had the booze knits.
Mm-hmm.
Like I bought them, and like I'm like, oh, I'll probably break these in eventually, and they never broke in, and I was so bummed.
Wow. Yeah.
No, I can relate to that because same thing with my white foot. I have certain shoes I get, and then I just watch them like they're skinny, and then they just stretch out on them. It's like, man, now they don't look cool anymore.
The same no more. Your foot's all hanging over the sole. You're like, nah, come on, help me.
and it sucks because sometimes you find that really nice shoe you like, but then after a couple of days, or a couple of skate sessions, it's just warped.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
That is the worst, man. All right. Are you when you were skateboarding back in the day? I know. Back in the '90s, we didn't have ear pods back then. But did you bump music at all?
Not in the '90s, but in the early 2000s, I did have like the little Sony Discman.
Sick.
And I would have the little headphones on, and I would skate with it, and I'd fall or whatever, and it would just go flying to pieces and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like you had to have music somewhere.
Right.
So you just did what you could.
Yeah. I would record on cassettes like the music from the video, from the actual videos, and then play the music back, and you could hear all the skateboarding in it and everything.
I would get pumped up either with a video or just listening to that tape, like I would make them too, and just before I would skate and just get it stuck in my head so much and just go.
Yeah, those are the best, man. Because nowadays you could just get pumped up like right away on your phone right in front of you. Back then you had to be at home or somebody's pad, get all pumped up, get back to wherever you needed to be to skate. Like us, we'd had to go at least 10 minutes away to make, or 5 minutes away to get a skate sesh on, and maybe hopefully get to the spot and they didn't like sandblast our curbs,
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, cool, let's get it.
Yeah.
And crook grinds were just everything to me back then. I was just trying to go as far as I could. Those were fun. What did you do? The crook grinds? Did you skate curbs and all that stuff too?
Yeah, I didn't learn crooked grinds until that one abandoned building ledge.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll see, like one of my oldest clips, I'm there. I don't have very much footage because I didn't have a camera.
Right.
But I did crooked grind that, not on film, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was probably the only time I was really doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Was back then.
Yeah, they're fun. Like ollie into crooked grind though, right?
Yeah, ollie up because the ledge was like it wasn't super high, but it was like that. You had to ollie into it.
Yeah, for some reason I could never ollie into a crook. I always have to like either. That's why I do curbs, so you can just place it right there, just boom. And then landing them, unfortunately, I couldn't really pop out. I had to shove it out just to land it.
I always trip out on the dudes who can crook and don't touch their nose.
Yeah.
Like they'll just balance it. I'm like,
it's got a slight pinch.
I think I was trying to do them that way. I didn't want to touch 5-0s. I didn't want to touch at all.
Right.
Because for me, it was like I was manualing so much. I was like, you're not supposed to touch or drag. I don't like that feeling.
Drag.
Yeah.
No tail drag.
And of course, it was much harder. But I would always try to do my nose grinds like proper and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I would settle for anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start off with some drag if I start, but if it's low enough, I think I can make it without dragging the tail for sure.
And plus slappies back then, I don't remember, like they weren't cool yet.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Like, I had a friend that would slappy in like even the late 90s, and I was just like, oh, look at this old school guy slapping. And I'm like, I'm gonna but I look like an idiot too probably. I was ollieing like this tiny little red curb just to get into a 50-50. I'm like, I'm doing it right. You know? And it's so stupid like that we thought that way, but
yeah,
like you have to ollie into a tiny curb.
That's what they I mean, that's what we're taught, man.
Well, it was kind of like with my generation growing up. We would play games of skate and they'd be like, no old school kickflips, no ollies, no cannonballs. And we'd be like, but they're still tricks.
Yeah.
Right. You're just mad because you can't do them.
Right.
That's all it was, like pressure flips. I hated them because I couldn't do them.
And I loved them because I could do them. And I would teach everybody how to do them.
We're going to show me outside then.
Sure.
Hell yeah. Did you ever do a dream trick? Did you ever,
kind of.
Did you have a dream trick that?
My dream trick was pretty lame. It was a double 360 flip.
Oh, shoot.
And so I remember being at Golden View and just, I think Ed Templeton was probably there, and I was like, I'm going to land this today. Because whenever the pros would show up, like, you would somehow skate better. Like, I'm just going to go for it. Not that I thought anything was going to happen, but I just felt like the energy.
For sure.
And I was just trying it off that curb, and I had help because I was doing it off the
curb. Right.
And it's kind of a high curb that they had there. I don't know if I even landed it then, but eventually I learned how to do it.
That's cool.
And now I'm just like, it's not my dream trick anymore, but at the time, I was very into double flips, everything.
Double flips?
Double heel flip, double kick flip.
Damn, double heel? I don't think I've ever done that one.
Those double tricks, they look nice though, when you can throw them down something and then they're just floating, you just watch it spin. I'm just like, wow. Because I was just editing a part for my buddy and I saw him double flip something in there. I was like, you make them look nice, dude. You don't stop doing them.
Yeah. I was only wanting to do double flips on flat ground, so everything was flat ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm going to do it off something, I'm going to try to triple.
Ooh. Oh, shoot.
Or like off this 3-stair Carl's Jr., I would do pressure flips normally, but when I would do it off of that, I would 360 pressure flip off of it. Because you had all this extra hang time. You're like, oh, let's keep going. Kind of like what Jeff to Cesare.
Yeah.
Like, I just like,
Jeff to
if I could have done that would have been how I skated if I could have done it.
Yeah.
I was trying to be kind of like that.
That's cool.
I just couldn't get that far.
That dude, so much props to him because he does some of the gnarliest tricks. I'm like, I don't think anyone out there would even have the courage to do them, even if they could.
Yeah, no, to wait for that thing to float all the way down the way it does and spin and then plant your feet right at the perfect time. I'm like, that's amazing.
Right. And my favorite skaters are people like him, like Daewon, like the Gons.
Yeah.
People that like aren't trying to just do what everybody else is doing. They're like, I'm skating this way and I don't care if you like it or not. Like,
right. This is fun.
And there's plenty of people that appreciate it, even if there's plenty that don't. Like, just keep being yourself for sure.
For sure, man. Daewon saw, man, like that guy just, I mean, dropping in off of like a electrical box into a tiny little kicker.
That post he posted recently this week, right?
Yeah, I'm like, this guy's nuts, just having fun. And then he goes up and rock the fakie. Man.
I wish more people would be like that. Just like be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to try to copy everybody else. Like you can copy, everybody does a little bit. Like you're gonna try to learn like the fundamentals, but like if you feel like this is how I want to be, this is my style, just run it.
Right. Yeah. Just go with what feels natural, man.
I think that's the greatest part about skateboarding too. It gives you that freedom.
Yeah.
That eventually, like I mean, like you said, you come in, you learn your fundamentals, but then you learn how you like to skate.
Yeah.
Like we had a guest come on, and I went to go skate with them. Dude, I just saw him skating old school. I'm like, dude, you look like you're just having so much fun, like with that old school style, just doing foot plants, jumping over your foot, getting cliffs. I'm like, and that's what skateboarding's about. It's just going out, hanging out with the group of dudes, and having a good time.
Yeah, 100%. And nowadays you don't get as much hate for it, so definitely run it now. Like there's no excuse not to run it anymore.
Yeah.
That's exactly true, man. Because back then, like I said, pressure flips were kind of kooky, but I didn't do them, but I would love to have learned them. They look cool to me. It's just, I was like, I can't do that trick.
And it all depends sometimes on where you live. Like, so I think I heard, what was it? Jason Lee didn't like the pressure flip, right?
Right.
Because Reese G made a video about that.
Yeah.
But Templeton did.
Right.
And I wasn't seeing Jason Lee when I was skating. I was seeing Templeton. So I'm like, this is a cool trick. I'm going to learn it. And I learned it. And I would do it all the time. And nobody ever gave me any hate. They'd be like, oh, you can pressure flip.
I learned Impossibles because of Templeton.
Yeah, he was great at those back then.
Man, those are so bomb.
Yeah, I never learned them.
I think that does play a big factor into skating, though. Like, the area you live in, because, like, also, like, I remember growing up, like, certain, like, parts of different little cities in our area, like, we knew, on that side are all, like, the ledge skaters. All those dudes are into, like, the whole Lakai thing.
Really?
And on this side's all, like, the Hesh dudes that just like to just huck it. And you would catch it, and then, we'd all meet in the middle when we'd be at the skate park, but you already knew, like, what city had what skaters and what city had, like, they were into this. Or, like, you would end up being friends with them and you become a hybrid of it.
Right. Yeah. Well, my little crew was, like, all, like, because of Plan B, we were all into, like, I don't know, Pennywise, like skate punk music, and it was Orange County, so it was like there was local bands. So that's kind of how we were. And then later I started seeing like other types of music coming into skating. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's like not just one style. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
It is, because like I said, like, well, I grew up in like La Puente Covina, so like we were more like the Hesh guys, and you can tell too by when you would go to their like local skate shops too, because back then shops would supply only, you walk in there and see only Hesh brands like Zero, Foundation, Pig, and all that, and then that was the big influence out there. Or I'd go to like a higher end shop like in maybe like Pomona where they had like a platform, and they were more like the artsy brand, like Alien Workshop, Habitat, stuff like that. And it's crazy how that all affects your skate style, because like they'd be more like Austin Gilletti, Dylan Reeder.
I wonder if they chose what they can have on the board, on the walls, or do they just have, you know, connections to certain skate like suppliers, you know what I mean? That's what I always wonder too.
Well, it's like if you go into like pawn shop these days over here in Covina, they have more like a mixture of like hash mixed with that San Fran hash with like that Nike Dylan Reeder style put together. And it's crazy because I'm just like, I've always noticed that walking into different shops, like they have like their set.
Yeah. They of course they're gonna stock what's gonna appeal to their demographic, right? To whoever's coming in the store. So, I mean, yeah, like a lot of people like hockey and stuff. Like back then I was like, who the hell is that? You know, I was like, I just know the old school guys, right? You know,
yeah.
So, and I was kind of blown away because I'm like, you guys don't know Plan B? You guys, what's going on nowadays? No, we like this, we like that. Like, those shops don't carry that. We have to go here to get it. Whoa, wow, these skate shops need to open their eyes and start putting in some of these brands. Get more customers.
Yeah. It's got to be really hard to run a skate shop, man. From just talking to the owner of Overcast, I'm just like, he's been running it for like a few years and he's doing something right, but it just seems very difficult.
Wow. Well, this online shopping and all that.
Yeah. And you got like an active, like they moved out and when they shut down, like we're done. Remember after that demo, like they were starting to close up and then they reopened again. And so it's like right when you probably think you're getting a break as a skate shop, then another one opened in the mall right after that too. And it's like you got all these competitors and that are like, you know, they have a lot of money but I think as long as the locals keep the skate shops open, that's that's what keeps them open. So just keep going.
Yeah, you'll have your people that become their locals that come in all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's all about the atmosphere the skate shop sets, because I think the one thing that always keeps a shop successful is the fact that you can come in, hang out, vibe out with the workers, the local skaters, our local sponsors.
Yeah.
And especially if the shop's doing a lot for the community, that's what's gonna make them stand out more compared to just like some dude that's just like, I'm just gonna open a shop and just have one dude sitting here all day just doing nothing.
Are you guys gonna buy something? All right, get out. I'm like, nah, you can't be having that.
And they also know the answers to your questions, and like kids are smart enough to know if they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And you go into like some of the mall places, some of them know, some of them don't, and it's so annoying when you're a kid and like they don't. You just instantly are like, I'm not gonna buy from somebody that doesn't know skateboarding. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like the experience I had with Zoomies. I went in there one time and I asked for a pair of independent trucks, and the worker just sat there just like looking around like, I'm like, dude, I'm asking for independence, the most famous truck brand out there.
You're like telling them where everything
I'm like,
like
I'm standing in front of them. I'm like looking at them. Like,
honestly, I didn't even want to help them. I just looked there and I'm like,
or I think we're out, and you're like, you got like 20 sets right
Yeah, no, even at that point, I just like turned around and walked away. And I think I walked over next door to the Boarders, and I was like, at least these dudes know what they're talking about. That's
what I would have done too.
Yeah, I want somebody to sell me something that they know what they're doing, you know?
But it's things like that turn people away from shops, you know? Just that atmosphere and the ambiance and all that.
Because it could be really intimidating for a kid to go in there, you know, with their mom or something, and you know, scary to, you know, for your first board and everything, you know, you want to feel comfortable. You don't want to be like, hey, what do you want, kid? Oh, shit.
Yeah, the kids want to take their time and get a good setup. Right. They're very, like, when I was a kid anyways, like, I was very meticulous, like, in every single thing. Nowadays, I'm a little more loose. Like, I don't care what bearings I have, per se. But then I was like, I want these, and if they don't have them, like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. Like, I got to figure this out.
Was a shape an issue for you? Did you have to have the right shape, or was it like a graphic that you were mostly looking for?
That's a good question. So once the popsicle shape came out, which my friends were the ones that introduced me to, I was like, it has to be a popsicle shape. That was the main thing. And then the double nose boards came out, and I had to have one of those at one point. But it was probably mostly graphic and also just who the pro was. Right.
Yeah. That's the same thing. Like I didn't learn till maybe you know, it took a while, but once I started noticing, like, wow, I noticed if I have this shape nose or something, I could do nose slides even longer, or like, and now my tail feels small, and then I like things that feel like they almost have two noses. Okay, like I start learning like that, and then you start figuring out that they don't make that shape no more.
Right.
You're like, oh, now you gotta retrain you gotta learn something else on a new board. It's been like that always, man.
Yeah.
For me.
That's why I have a quiver now. Like I have different types of boards because I know I can't. There's certain boards I can't pressure flip on.
Oh.
And there's certain boards I can't do anything on like, at all.
Right. Yeah. Like right now I'm skating the Chris Roberts twin paddle.
Me too. Yeah.
Right? 825. But I just cracked it. So I'm like, I'm in the market for a new one. Went to the Nightclub website. They're sold out.
Uh-oh.
So I was like, all right, well, so I went to my local skate shop. I was like, I'm like, by chance do you have this board? They're like, nah, we don't have it, but on our next order we can see if we can get it for you. Okay, I could probably get by using another board until they get it in stock. But if they can't get it, I'm like, well, I might have to go to the main source and go get one myself because that's my favorite shape right now.
Yeah, when that came out, I got the 8.5.
You bought a few, didn't you?
I bought 3 at once because I'm like, just in case. And I hadn't even ridden it yet.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to get this. And I actually still am skating the first one that I got.
Wow.
Like, I'll show you later when we skate. But
yeah,
like I've always been that way. I'll skate a board until it's like pretty done.
Yeah.
And then luckily like there's kids like at the skate park. That's one thing I like the skate park for is give them the old board. But
yeah.
I still try to run them as long as I can.
I probably still have the black and orange board, the twin paddle, but I think I stopped skating it because the rails, I put rails on it and the rails went down all the way to the bolts. So instead of like just changing it, I just get a whole new setup. But now this one's cracked. I don't know. The other one might still have some shape to it. Who knows?
Yeah, if I had an 825, I would give it to you, but I don't.
It's all good. It's all good. I could support the Nightclub and get another one.
Their 8.5s though, they don't feel like an 8.5 because
really?
Of the way it's shaped. It feels a little more like an 8.3 to me.
I'm on an 825 right now, I believe, the smaller one. Yeah, but that's cool, man. Yeah. That was my issue back in the day. Like I would just see a cool graphic, Sean Sheffy board. Boom, I want that one. That was it. Got on it. It was more like kind of football shape-ish back then, Wasn't what we're now. I know what I like. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Let's get into some of your hobbies. What do you do for hobbies besides skate? Well, while you're not skating.
You got another 3 hours? I have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
So obviously martial arts was always a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really just, my latest one is street photography.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so I'm not any good at it, but like I apply the same, it's cliche, but skaters, you always have that same mentality when you try anything new and you try to see how it's like skateboarding. And so I can see how it's like skateboarding very much. And like, what other hobbies?
I just want to touch on that real quick. That you say how it's like skateboarding. I was telling him earlier, like how we started the show. It's like when we first did our first couple episodes, we didn't even know how to ollie yet. We're out in the driveway right now, just practicing. And I go, I think the show. I think we're about we're ollieing pretty good on our show now. So next is like, let's learn that kickflip. Let's get to the next stage. Yeah. So I think, like he said, like photography, I think you could apply the same way. You're out there pointing your camera, you're seeing what you're doing. Okay, you need to see, okay, maybe I need to put my foot here. Maybe I need to change this angle, lighting, everything. Like, it's cool how you can relate a lot of stuff to skateboarding.
That's actually how, like, my current job is I'm a software engineer.
Mm-hmm.
But for 10 years, it was just a hobby. Like, and it was the same thing. It was like, it's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's like one goal that I'm trying to figure out, and I can just keep persisting on it and failing, getting those idiot errors, over and over and over. The ID10T errors. Until it goes away, and it's like I landed it. Yeah. And that's what kept me and still keeps me doing that and interested in it.
I was gonna ask with the street photography, like, what exactly are you like taking pictures? Are you like just going out there and just random flicks, or like are you doing architecture, landscape?
A little bit of both. For me, what I find more exciting is like people.
Yeah.
Because like you're kind of just going some random street, new spot, and you're just seeing random stuff, whatever's spontaneously happening.
Yeah.
And trying to find something interesting, either an interesting person or like interesting group of people, and then
a photograph could say a lot just by looking at it.
Yeah.
And if you capture the right moment, you can see like I've noticed it. It's like your street photography. You are capturing moments, people, things. And I'm like, okay, I see where he's going with this, because it's like you're showing people like a view of what you're experiencing in a way, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, this is kind of rad.
And like skateboarding, they get mad at you for expressing yourself in their vicinity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand it. That's why they're upset. Like, why are you taking a picture of me?
Right.
So I try to be respectful, but you still like, I'm gonna take a picture of you because you're out in public and
right.
It's not illegal. I'm not gonna be. I don't shove the camera in their face.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that, and they do get punched in the face. And it's kind of like they know what they're doing, and you know, it's fun though. You follow like people like that, and it kind of makes you think, okay, I can probably get a little closer next time. And there's always like.
Yeah.
And then, and if you're afraid of doing that, or sometimes I'm just not in the mood, or I just don't see anybody interesting, I'll just take a picture of whatever. It doesn't have to be a person.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you're like you said, like you're clicking that tail.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. What's the next hobby that you have?
I'm trying to get back into boxing. That was one that like I only had a good experience with, and my work was paying for it. And then when they stopped, I just kind of was like, I'll just practice at home. And then I didn't do it, and I just miss it. So I just started practicing it again.
Boxing, huh? Just like kind of like sparring a little bit, no physical, like punching.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to get into a fight or get like.
But you want the
compete or anything.
You want the skills and the fundamentals, like.
It's just it's a really challenging. You can practice it for the rest of your life every day. Mm-hmm. Just. Yeah, it's fun and it keeps you in shape.
It's that training, right? Like the mentality it brings into you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna circle back to like the skateboarding thing. You're just kind of pushing yourself. You're like, I want to land the next trick. I want to get better. Probably make your form look better, and kind of clean it up.
Yeah, and also like skateboarding. Everything that I like to do is like something you could do by yourself or with people.
Yeah.
Right.
So like boxing's the same way. You can just at home all day with nobody around, and then you can also, when you get a partner, like up your game. And so
right.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah, you could be hitting the bag, or somebody's like got and you're just hitting it, ducking under someone swinging by you.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds fun.
And like how you're trying to constantly perfect like an ollie or a kickflip or whatever for the rest of your life. It's the same with like your jab. It's like it's so simple, and yet you're just never finished.
Yeah, there's a proper way to throw a punch, and trust me, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Like people that say they're bored, I do not understand that. I've never understood it because there's so much to do, and like go on YouTube, like you can learn anything. Like
right. Like
I've always just been that way. Like just get as many hobbies as you can. Don't feel like I don't have time. Like
right.
I work full time and I still find time for my hobbies. So
right.
it keeps you balanced.
It really does, man, because you can't stress over just one thing all day. It's just too much.
That's another reason that that's actually why I got into street photography, is my work was getting extra stressful because we were launching and like a new product, and it was just like we were working overtime, and I'm like, right. I need a way to turn this off. Right. Do something completely different that I'm fully immersed in and that's new.
Yeah, because if you don't shut it off, I'm sure like me, like if like say sometimes like if I'm thinking about the show, and I can't go to sleep because it's in it now. I'm dreaming about the situation, and then sometimes it's a good thing where I wake up, I feel sharper. Yeah. I'm like, oh dang, like now I know exactly what I'm gonna say today, and some days I go, man, dude, I just my head went through a gauntlet, like you know what I mean. I didn't even feel like I got rested. So yeah, you got to figure out a way to shut that off. Yeah.
And for most, it's skateboarding, obviously. Like, that did it for me when I was younger, and I could skate 12 hours a day straight and come home and not be sore and go back and do it the next day. But now that I'm 45, I'm like, I skate like once a week, and then I like in between that, I need some other stuff to fill in the gaps.
Do you have a heavy bag at the house? Yeah. Yeah, so you're just hitting it? Yeah. That's cool. You got the little...
I'm going to get one of those next, but I do have the double-ended bag, the ball that comes.
Oh, that's cool. That's some skills, man. You get to keep that thing coming straight at you.
Yeah, and it's fun too.
Yeah. The one thing I kind of like is when they hit that tennis ball or something,
Yeah, always like, I had one of those, but it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, you hang it for your forehead, right?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm going to get a speed bag next time.
Speed bag, that's cool, man. That's cool. Hell yeah, shout out to that. Are you jump roping too? Did you get the Kelly Hart jump ropes or the...
Yeah, I got the cross ropes.
Cross ropes? They call them Kelly Harts.
Yeah, and that's another thing is boxing is big on the jump roping, so I'm starting to do that again.
Yeah, I need to get back on the damn jump rope.
I found the most important thing is like for me, because my feet were killing me doing it, wear shoes. Like, you know, you hear like it's better to exercise barefoot if you can. I'm like, oh, not for that. Yeah. Not for jump roping.
Yeah, I would keep my shoes on.
Well, I can only imagine too if you're like you're going fast and then you whip your feet with it when you're not wearing shoes.
Yeah,
that must hurt.
I've done that.
Yeah, shorts too, man. It's just, especially I'm trying to like cross that thing. Oh, oops.
I don't even try to get fancy.
Delete that one. Let's record again. Let's get another new one.
Yeah, I haven't tried getting fancy with it yet either. It's hard enough just to like keep it going for like over a minute straight without tripping on it.
Oh yeah,
that's hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I same thing. I invested into the cross ropes and they're greatest things ever. But dude, it's hard just to like 30 seconds for me. I'm struggling. Especially with that weight on them.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, wow.
You got that, they got the fat rope and you got the thin rope.
Yeah, but it does make a difference. Like if I jump rope before something, like it really loosens everything up. So it's like a perfect warm up.
Okay. We were using it before we were doing skate sections back in the day.
Really?
Oh yeah. Just take it to the skate park. People start looking at us like, dang. Some other kid come up to us and he's like, got all the fancy footwork, and I'm like, what? He goes, I used to box. Oh, okay.
Right.
Like, damn, all right. Looks good, though.
Yeah, I would do all my karate stretches, like the same stuff they would teach us. I'd be like doing all the stretches and stuff before I would skate.
Yeah.
Whatever you knew, you would just use that.
Dude, it's like, to be honest, there was a time where I was stretching, and then I hurt myself stretching before a damn session, so I don't stretch no more. I just roll around. I do the Tony Hawk, just keep rolling until I warm up.
Yeah, I don't static stretch because I've heard like you get injured that way. Like if you just sit there and hold the stretch.
Right.
Like I'll do a quick few dynamics.
Maybe that was my
leg
problem.
Swings and stuff, jump roping.
Holding the hell out of that leg and it just cramps up. Ah.
Yeah, because you're loosening that muscle like too much and then it's not really ready to go work.
Yeah.
It's like a rubber band. You stretch it and it can't go back. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get into the park. I just start rolling around. Just cruising on the transition, a couple pumps, start getting that motion in, and then that always helps out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know they can. Your Instagram is Kulla Street. Is that where they can find those photos?
Yeah. There's not very many there yet because I'm brand new to this.
But still, at least now they can go follow it, and they can. Now you're gonna be like, dang, now I gotta go put more photos on there.
Yeah, that's fine. It'll keep me inspired.
Are you doing all digital or just film or?
Just digital.
Just digital.
Yeah, I see that like a lot of people are still using film.
Yeah.
But I'm just
coming back. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll probably old school stuff.
I'll probably try it at some point, but for now I'm happy with the digital.
What kind of camera are you shooting on?
I have two. I have a Leica Q2 monochrome. Okay. So it only does black and white.
I like that.
Yeah, it's a great camera.
I like
that. And then I have a Ricoh GR3, which is like a little point and shoot. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a little bit better than a phone.
Okay.
And compact, so it's like a perfect
like a little
everyday.
It's like one of those you can just like strap on and walk around with, kind of like Templeton.
Yeah. And people don't feel as like
threatened
by it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what's funny is like even with that camera, when I go home and I I load the pictures into Lightroom and I'm looking at them, almost everybody is like looking at the camera, like they're noticing you. Yeah, even with that camera, I'm like, really?
But that's interesting too. That's an interesting photo though. You're like you got the side eye.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of just people like, what are you doing? Even if it's like they were way far away. Yeah. I'm like, that kid's looking at me from way down there. I wasn't even trying to take your picture, but everybody's.
You're like, you ruined my shot, homie.
Or you'll catch people like flipping you off or like peace signing. It's usually like this because they think you're taking their picture.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't even trying to take your picture.
Honestly, I do the same thing when I see someone taking a picture. But I'm more of I make like silly faces. Yeah. I'm always like, cause my mom gets mad at me because she's all, you need to learn how to take the right picture. But I'm like, it's funny. Especially imagine the person when they go, like you said, when you go into Lightroom and you're just like, that kid doing, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah. That's cool, man.
I ruined all of our pictures growing up. I was like the one kid not smiling or making a face or doing the bunny ears or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one thing that... Family photos, like my mom was always, can we have a family? And one day me and my brother, I took my brother, we got it for Christmas. And unfortunately, we're all stoned in the picture though. She's like, God, what you got? You really couldn't wait till after? Sorry, Mom.
Because back then you would barely ever take pictures.
Yeah.
So they kind of were special, I guess.
But I think that's the only way I could get my brother to go. I'm like, wow, blaze you out, All right, let's go.
I feel like that's true though with the pictures. Like they're more common now because everyone has digital, so people can just sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna just snap a bunch." Instead of back then, it was like, I have film. I have one shot to take a good picture, so now I'm gonna be cautious about what I take a picture of.
Yeah, I have like more pictures of my breakfast than my mom ever had of her entire family because we just weren't taking pictures that much.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but my little brother, I think he has way more pictures than me because, you know, we're 10 years apart. But so by then, cameras were like more available or more, you know, Polaroid pictures were a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, like snap and shoot. Because before, you didn't know if you got a good shot until you took them to Target or whatever.
Yeah.
Got them back a week later, and you're going through them. You're like, oh, damn. Didn't even
get
your
that
head's
one
cut off.
You get that one with your finger in the front of the lens. You're like, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I really like those black and white photos because a lot of times it's not easy to take a good black and white photo, man. Like the ones that, like, if you know, those filters on your cameras or whatever, you take a regular photo and you go to black and white, and you're like, I can tell that's not real.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like made up.
Exactly. That's the thing is you with the camera that's black and white, it only takes that. You have to look ahead of time, like what would look good in black and white.
That's so crazy.
And it's not easy. I throw out I take thousands of pictures and I barely post any. And even the ones I post, I'll sometimes later I'll be like, it's not any good, and I'll remove it. So it's a very subjective, but
right. It's you know, it's whatever people might like, you know, and then I mean I see what you're doing and I enjoy it because I started following it for sure.
But it's like skating. It's like I like the act of doing it the most. It's not like the after results of I got this clip or I got this photo. Yeah, that's a bonus and it's fun, but it's not as fun as you actually just being out there in the moment shooting. That's
cool. Same and it gets you out there too.
It's like have you ever watched that movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah.
And how the photographer says he's all I forget what's the quote he says. He says not all beauty wants to be seen.
Yeah, when he didn't take a picture of that snowy owl or something. Yeah. He's like, that's another hobby I have is like birding. Like I love that. That's like one of my favorite things because like you go out in nature. It's like, what's there to do out here? There's like all these crazy birds out in nature. So like get a camera or some binoculars. That to me is fun. Like it's nerdy, but it's really cool when you spot like a really cool looking bird.
Oh yeah.
And it just feels like you're hunting, but you're not hurting anything.
Right. Oh yeah. Are you getting the photos of it too?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they're the hardest thing to take pictures of because they will not sit still and they're tiny and they're always trying to hide from humans. So like when you get a good shot, it's pretty cool. Like it's not easy.
I know. Tell me about it, man. Like one morning I was going to work and there's that brown telephone pole out there. There was a woodpecker, and I can see his head. And I'm like, oh damn it! I'm trying to get the photo. Like, zooming in doesn't even do its justice what I can see. Yeah. You know, and even trying to record it, it's not capturing what I can get. And I'm like, looking at it, trash. You know, like, but still, like in my head, like the way I was like, this is so rad. Like, look at this woodpecker. I hear this guy out there all the time. I never see him. Like, I can hear it. And now he's over there on just the telephone pole right in front of my house.
Yeah, and that's why I like to, with those, you have to get like the telephoto lens that can really zoom in. And it's fun to like see the picture afterwards because they're moving so fast. So if you don't get a picture, it's really hard to like see. Wow. But obviously if you capture the picture and you're looking at it afterwards, you're like, wow, I can't believe that thing was like right outside.
Right.
Because you would not ever notice this stuff if you're not looking for it.
You should see how many birds I feed in my backyard, man. Jeez, these guys are here all the time, man. Blue ones, yellow ones, different color ones.
I've been getting lucky recently, too, because I always go to Winter Narrows to go play disc golf. And for some reason, every time I'm there, I have these like little blue birds just flying around me in circles.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. At a certain point, I'm starting to think, maybe I should take a picture of one, but they're just constantly circling around me. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
And it's fun to like try to figure out later like what's that bird called. Like,
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you too. Do you do your research and find out what it was?
Yeah, I have like a field guide or just look it up on your phone now. Like you type the description of it or whatever, and you figure out like, oh, okay, that's what that was. And then you actually, if you're a birder, they call them, like a bird watcher who like keeps a list of all the birds you've seen. Like you do that for your whole life. So I've been doing that. I don't take it very seriously. So I only got like 150 or something.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but like just people that have like a couple thousand, and like there's like meccas for that. Like you go to Costa Rica, and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, these like, damn, like imagine that somebody's like, this is a new species, it's not even out there yet, and I found this guy.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Man, yeah. Anything else? Any other hobbies, man?
Probably.
Jeez, I like it. I like it, man. We're getting some good info out here. Heck yeah. You have a pet?
Yeah, I got 2 dogs.
2 dogs? Shout out.
Yeah.
What are their names?
Annie and Bebo.
Okay.
So we just rescued Bebo.
Okay.
We were thinking of changing his name, but he was already 9, so we're like, we'll just keep it.
Okay, so that's what they named him?
Yeah, it grew on us, though. We like it now.
That's cool. And he answers to it right away, and he's like, he knows it?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
It's a Cocker Spaniel.
Mm. Yeah, that's rad, man. When did you rescue him?
Last November.
What kind of dog is it?
It's a Cocker Spaniel, so we went down to San Diego Spaniel Rescue.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of what they look like.
They're like the more hairier ones, right?
They're small, kind of like this big, and they got the big floppy ears.
Okay, okay. Yeah. What's the other dog?
Maltipoo.
Okay.
Kind of like Raj's dog. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, because that's the one I think I've seen in the photos. The other, is he like white or something like or?
Yeah, she's white. She just turned 12 on the 5th.
Oh wow, she's older.
And we got her when she was like 2 months old.
Wow, that's a friend and like for life right there, man.
And we're totally the type that like she sleeps on our bed and she's on the couch, but they don't shed like the kind of dogs we have.
That's the kind of dog I want.
Yeah.
It's like pretty much like your child almost.
It really is, yeah. It's insane. Like it controls your life because of it.
I bet, man, because I think like growing up here, this was where I stay, and we weren't allowed to have dogs here because they were afraid they're gonna mess up the plants and everything outside, even though like you got all this yard out here. And so now I'm like thinking, man, I think I can get one now. But it's like I don't like the dogs that shed. I don't want the dogs that have you have to brush them too many times or whatever. But I like short hair dogs. I like pit bulls, but they get too big, and some people are scared of them. Little dog, and then picking up the poop. I'm not trying to pick up some mountains. I'm like,
right,
dang.
exactly. A Cocker Spaniel is like one of the perfect dogs. Like,
okay.
And they're pretty mellow, and they're obedient like overall, and they don't have a loud bark. Like when they bark, it's like a kind of softish bark.
That's what I'm looking for.
Not the Maltipoo though. The Maltipoo, that's a different story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Dang. Shout out to the pets out there, man. Hopefully they're watching.
Yeah, mine does. Kinda.
Watches the Nightclub with you?
Yeah, I've been watching it so much that like I'll see her like looking up at it sometimes, sitting next to me.
Before you know it, she's just gonna pick up a skateboard one day and start skating. She's gonna start skating across.
Nah, not these dogs. You'd have to get probably like a bulldog or like whatever Murdy.
Yeah.
Whatever that dog was.
Rowdy dog too, right?
Yeah, Rowdy.
The dash hound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dash hound, that little fast guy. Yeah.
My dogs hate skateboards, and
that's another thing too. I would want the dog to be okay with the sound of all the noise and stuff. Like I don't know if that's something that's trained when they're young, or they just gonna always just be skittish.
I feel like it's something you have to expose them to, like as puppies, because I had a half German Shepherd, half pit bull, and as a puppy, I would just take him to the skate park, and eventually he just would start to learn he'd see me skating in the park, he would just, I'm gonna go chill on the ledge, but he wouldn't be afraid or chasing him or anything.
Yeah. The pit bull mixes are fun too. Like I've had those when I was younger, and also like any big dog because they would pull me on my skateboard.
Oh yeah, that sounds fun too.
It's fun until you get pulled too hard and lose control.
Yanked off the board.
Well, actually, just reminded me, like when I was a kid, my sister and I would like try to come up with our own business to make money.
Okay.
And one of them was like we'll go door to door and like walk people's dogs.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
we would get like bull mastiffs and like Rottweilers and all these big dogs, and we would just walk around Westminster, which wasn't a very safe neighborhood back then, but we felt like so safe with all these dogs, these big dogs and stuff.
I was like, I'd be afraid the neighbor's dog wouldn't get along with this other dog. You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. They should not have been giving these little kids their dogs like that back then. Like people were just like, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably like, it saves me from having to go walk it.
Right. That's what our thing was. We're like, they must have thought we were professionals because we're like, this is our business. Like, even though we're 12, 10 years old.
can we walk your dog for $5?
Another $5 to wash them, and we would hose them off.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's a good way to make money, though.
Yeah, man.
It worked.
It works, man. Shout out, hey, anybody out there that's listening, you know, you got dogs in the neighborhood, and you never know, you can make some extra cash. Or ask them if you could take out their trashes on the weekends. That always makes some money, too. Ask the older people that can't do it themselves.
Well, I saw there was some dude making a 3 figures a year just pressure washing trash cans. You just go up to people's house and be, hey, let me pressure wash a trash can.
Jeez.
That's cool.
Yeah, I could use that, man. Trash cans are.
Yeah, they get nasty.
They get pretty nasty, man. Yeah, and that's because like if you leave them out in the curb too long, then other people start throwing stuff in there, and you're like, oh no, gotta bring them in right away.
Right.
I mean, the smartest thing to do is if you know what day trash day is, right after the trash truck comes by and picks up all the trash.
Yeah.
Come in, hey, pressure wash your trash can every week for $20.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'm gonna start doing that.
He's like, Kulla's got a new business now. He's got a new hobby.
Work for myself now.
Yeah,
right?
I'm my own boss. Hell yeah. So, you do coding, you say?
Yeah.
And Matt, and it takes a long. Do you get to work from home?
I do, yes.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, even though it could be stressful, right? Like you said, hours of work.
Well, when I was living in San Diego, I was working in an office at Sony.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember thinking, like, I just want to work from home because people were, like, they just want to chat all day and it's fun, but, like, this is hard work. Like, so I'm like, I just want to work from home. And so after I left that job, I was only looking for, like, remote jobs. And this is way before COVID forced it on everybody. So I was already doing it for years. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't find it stressful. I find it less stressful because I can concentrate.
That's cool because, like, for some people, like maybe me, like I might get lazy because I'm at home. Like I probably need a building to go to or something so I can actually function. But
yeah,
like it just depends. Maybe if I make my own little office where I know like you got to set the mind like this is work, out there is family, whatever. I don't know, So
that's what you gotta like coding. Like that's what I did it for 10 years for fun first. Mm-hmm. Like you gotta want to solve the problem. That's what keeps you going. So. Otherwise, I'm sure there probably are people that, they just slack off when they're like at home playing video games.
And for someone like me, what is coding? What does that do?
Oh, it's just basically building applications.
Building applications?
Yeah. So right now I work for Warner Brothers Discovery, which does HBO Max and Discovery Plus.
Okay.
And so they just merged and it's just called Max now.
Right.
And so I'm doing a lot of the back end, like services, making it work when you log in and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Well, I know who to call when my HBO Max isn't working.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, let me know if there's a bug. I'm fixing bugs all day, basically.
Wow. That's crazy because, I mean, you got to be a smart dude, man, because I wouldn't know where to start to even get into a system and know how to do all the zeros and ones or whatever you got to put in there.
You would think, but, so basically I dropped out of high school and...
I would have never guessed that.
And didn't go to school for this, and this is pre-YouTube, so it was very little learning resources, and not good at math. But again, the skateboarding mentality of
just keep going.
I know what coding is now. Like you get to make something, like you get to be creative, and you're gonna figure it out no matter what. And you're gonna read books, and you're gonna read documentation, whatever you got to do to figure it out, and you're not gonna stop until you get it. So that is more important than like aptitude or being smart or whatever. Like anybody could learn it for sure. And that's what separates people that do it from don't is there's people that try it and they just get hooked on it.
Wow. It's amazing.
And I know a lot helps because like say someone coded, I know they leave you like little side notes in there to what the code they wrote did or something. So I know if someone can write good notes, that helps a lot too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's basically how I survive is I take a lot of notes and because you forget everything you learn anyways eventually because you go on to the next thing.
Right.
And it's like, then you got to revisit this. It's like,
right.
How did I figure that out?
How did I do that last time?
And you can refigure it out again, of course, but it's nice when you have like some notes like
a reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it's a lot of just typing in commands and then you have to hit the right character or else that command doesn't work because you're missing a character or a period or you didn't put a hyphen or something like that.
And that's all. That stuff's annoying. It's like it's like landing primo kind of. It's like, but there's this idea in your head of like how it's cool first.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like watching like movies about hacking.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just want to, that's cool. And like, once you get that, you're like, how do I do that? And then you go and figure it out. And then you realize, oh, it could be a job. And you have a passion for it at that point. So you come at it like self-taught. And by the way, I went back and got my high school diploma. So
good.
Everybody stay in school. But I never went to college for it. And then I just got a job doing it. But there's a lot of people who do. They come straight from school and they take a computer science course and they come in through it that way. And a lot of them do it because they like it, and some of them do it just because, you know, they heard it pays good or something like that, and they don't like it. And you can tell like those people don't like it, and they don't last as long doing it. Right. And maybe they go into management or some other stuff. Whereas like people like me, we get offered those positions and we're just like, I just want to stay doing this like forever because it's fun. I don't want to do something else and climb the ladder, you know. Right. Nothing wrong with doing that, but it's just like that's the real passion, is when you would do it for free.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Could you build a website as well? Like, is that the same kind of deal?
It is, and I get asked to build a lot of websites from people, like especially
don't ask him, people.
Well, first of all, I don't have the time really, anyways, but also I don't really do that. I have done that, but I'm more just in the back end.
Okay.
Doing like, you know, databases and more complicated microservices and stuff like that. Stuff that you wouldn't see as like a final product by itself. We have teams that like all together will create the full app.
Wow.
It's like you guys will work on like maybe the email part section of building like so people can put their email and their password.
Exactly.
While someone else is working on what the background's going to look like when they get it to that login page, and someone else going to be working on the drop down bar that shows you all these other options, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so like what I do is like when you sign up for it with like a cable provider or your phone provider or whatever, like it says, you know, sign up with Cox cable or whatever. Like that's kind of what I'm doing here.
Oh, that's cool.
But every job I take, it's like I do something slightly different.
Yeah. So it's not the same old.
Yeah.
No, and then like from the few courses I did take trying to learn it, it's crazy how just one little thing can set off the whole thing in a bug, and you just have to sit there and read through the whole thing until you find that one little error.
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff though.
That's cool. I'm glad you enjoy it, man, because that's everything, and you get to work from home.
Yeah, it's a lot of just sitting there by yourself at a computer all day, but I've been doing that since the 90s, so what's the difference? Comfortable.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I think we're doing good today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hell yeah. Before we get out of here, I know how long do you think we did? We did like 2 hours?
Almost 2 hours?
Really? Jeez, I think so.
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think we started like at 12. It's already almost 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we started a little after 12, but yeah, it's all good. We always give a crazy question before we get out of here. Pick one from the bowl if you like.
And don't forget I got this too.
Yeah, oh no, I'm not forgetting.
All right, should I open it?
Sure.
If you have $1 million, what are you buying? First of all, believe it or not, I don't have $1 million.
People out there, don't ask them for money.
I'm not ultra rich. I just donate a lot. What am I buying? Well, first of all, I'm buying everybody here lunch.
Oh yeah!
Right.
Yay! Get them a lotto ticket.
I don't know, like $1 million. I'd probably pay my house off.
That's a good one.
That's about it. That's about all I could do, probably.
That's cool. Hey, dude, yeah, because $1 million nowadays is probably not a lot. I should probably write $1 billion, and then somebody would be like, "Well, yeah, now I'm buying an island."
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's cool. Just paying off your house, nice, humble. That was an answer right there.
You know, it's funny. I just had someone randomly ask me that question too on the street, and I was like, you know what? I think or they asked me, what do I do with $20 million? And I was like, well, I think I invest $10 million to make a passive income, so it just keeps making money for me, and then the other $20 million just take care of my people, buy a house, and live comfortably.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd be living comfortably.
I just make sure that money never runs out by
invest it.
Yeah.
Invest it properly.
Because if you have more free time, like if I paid off my house, and like maybe I could work part time and have more time for my hobbies.
Right.
All right.
That's how I look at it too. Like now you can travel, go skate more, go pick up new hobbies.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we just kind of had that question recently, so I'm gonna ask you a question. If you ever got a pro skateboard with your name on it, what graphic would you want on it?
Probably a dog.
A dog?
So I love dogs so much.
That's cool.
Probably my dog, yeah.
That's
my dog Annie or something.
That's cool. Shout out to that.
Well, that'd be a good graphic too, like, because I feel like every pro makes.
If the wifey's listening, CCS makes skateboards. They're not.
She's definitely listening, and by the way, like a lot of credit to her for like she's so supportive of me supporting skateboarding.
Shout out to that.
If it wasn't for her support, I couldn't support.
Right. Because I couldn't imagine like if my lady found out how much I was donating to the Nightclub every week and saw that, that bank statement going, what the hell are you thinking? But if you got the means and you can do that, hey, that's cool, man.
There are times when I'm like, yeah, I haven't been donating as much lately because like I watch our money and I'm like being careful.
Of course.
And she's like, oh, she's like wants me to. She's like,
yeah, there's too much in here. Get rid of some of this, yeah.
I'm like, so you'll see it kind of like I'll do a little bit more, and sometimes there's a little.
Yeah.
Because I'm like anybody else, I have my ups and downs. So.
Right. But I like sometimes when there's a battle going on, like someone tries to match you, and then you're like, oh really? Click. Here you go. And then the guy goes back again. Oh really? And it's like whoa. And then it's like showstopper after showstopper. It's like, dude, it's so cool. And like.
and this is all going on through like the group chat.
Yeah, during the live show.
And there are times when I just got to be like, you win, because like I have my limits,
Yeah.
And there are times when I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. You're not gonna win this.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like I'm donating with Kulla $9.99, and he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, totally. There's times when people do that, and I'm just like, run it, like, good for you. It's your moment.
Hell yeah, man. It's so much fun to watch that and see the chat just flip out too. And then there was one that I thought was pretty funny. One kid was like asking you, I think somebody asked you, can I have some money? Can you send me some money? And your answer was like, start a podcast that I might like and maybe I will.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's why I started that podcast. That was me, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
Your alter ego on the
chat.
it
was like a little troll in there. No.
And that's why I'm donating, because the show's not only important to me, it's important to like so many people.
It is, man.
And like during the pandemic, I was a little worried about that show. I was like, I don't know if this thing's gonna make it, and it's like this is the only thing I have to look forward to every week.
Right.
Not the only thing, but
right?
You know
but
it's
one of our fun things to do. And then, how did you feel when the experience said that they were ending? Because I thought I was like, oh damn, what do I do on Wednesday night now, or whatever night we were doing it? Was it Wednesdays?
Yeah, I knew they would do something else, and they did.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, isn't it April Fool's? Like everybody.
Everybody thought it was April Fool's.
And then I thought, like, based off of their explanation, I was like, okay, maybe they're just, they need a break.
Yeah.
And a couple months later they came back, so I think.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy how they're just like, oh, we're back, but just us three now, and Kelly's at the table.
Yeah. A lot of people still don't understand it.
Right.
And I get the confusion. So, and they'll probably always be getting people asking them why and speculating. So, but it's their show at the end. This is what, like, when I donate, I don't ask them to, I don't have any input into the show. Like, you should do this, you should do that.
Right.
I mean, other than like anybody in the chat might throw out an idea.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's their show. Just like this is your show.
Right.
And people should just respect that. You like the show. They're running the show. Let them do their thing. They're going to anyways. Yeah. And you don't have to like everything they do.
Right.
And if you have your own ideas, go start your own show.
Right. I mean, just this whole podcast is kind of a mashup of like a bunch of podcasts I listen to a little bit. Like I take in ideas from this show, from that show, and then I go, okay, well let's take all these like things I've learned from the show, and then put it in an idea that I have, which we created here. And so it's kind of like, okay, well I took an idea from here, here. But I still ran my own idea, but I still had at least somewhere
give it like your own flair to it.
Right. Yeah.
So it's basically like.
But I had a jump point from all these different places. Like, okay, I like what they do here. I love what they do over there. I like what they do over there, but I might change a little bit. Like. Yeah. I don't want to copy anybody's intros or anything like that, but. I just said, okay, this is how they introduce people. Like, I like that, or I like how they do this on their show.
And like the haters, like I used to think like, why are people hating? Mm-hmm. It's just because they care about the show. Like they don't care about the show less than I do, and I don't care about the show less than they do. Just because I'm positive about it.
Right.
I'm positive about it, like I said, because it's their show. They're gonna do what they want. But the people that are haters, if they really didn't like it, they just wouldn't even pay attention in the first place.
They wouldn't even be there or care to share the comment or.
They just kind of go about it in a way that I don't agree with, but I get it, and it's valid. Like they should probably be listened to, even if you don't agree with them, rather than just dismissing them as like, oh, you're just a hater. Like you're just being negative. You don't even like the show. Yeah. Because they probably do like the show, or they wouldn't watch it.
Right. Or maybe they're just people who aren't used to change like that, you know, like they're used to the show being just one way, and then they evolve. They see these dudes evolving. They're like, no, I liked it this way better. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I mean, eventually they come around, right?
Yeah, when you're young, like I was the same way. Like I didn't like change when I was young. Maybe they're all young.
Yeah, nobody does. But yeah, once we get some haters on the show, that's when I feel like we made it. Everybody's too nice in the comments still.
Well, you'll have some after today. I'm sure.
Don't start on Kulla's show. Let me tell you that right now. All right. Well, I know we're almost gonna get out of here, and you did bring us a little something here.
Oh yeah.
So I do want to. I have not looked at it, everybody. I've been saving it for this particular moment, and I know he said to be.
It's a little fragile.
A little fragile, he said. So I'm gonna be super careful.
So I've had this in my house for 4 years, and it's not getting seen by anybody but me.
Wow.
And I know you're a big skate collector, and you got a set.
Oh, wow. What's going on in here? Let me get this thing. It says fragile.
I'm really intrigued right now, too. I'm just, like, watching it from behind.
Did I just...
So you've seen this, probably. You've seen me post this.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
It's Jamie Thomas's X Games trophy from 1995. His best trick trophy when he did the 50-50 to wrap up the title. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it when he hit that big rail that they had in there?
Yeah. So he sold that a few years ago, like 4 years ago.
Why did he sell it?
He's done some interviews on like Shred's skate shop in Canada. They have a YouTube channel that explained it. Mm-hmm. He sold it for a few reasons, I think. So one, he thought the X Games was corny, and he thought this was hideous.
Oh well. Okay.
And Jamie Thomas is one of my favorites. Well,
we love it over here.
But he also replaced it with like a $1 cheap little trophy.
Okay.
But he signed the bottom, and he kept it in pretty good condition. So
that's amazing, dude.
He sells a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I know he had that Garage Day sales.
Yeah, that's where I got it, basically. Yeah.
Dude, that thing's so badass. I'm a big Jamie Thomas fan too.
For sure.
It's like I grew up with him on Dying to Live, and then I did my research. Welcome to Hell.
Welcome to Hell, right there, man.
Chomp on This and all that.
Yeah, Welcome to Hell is my favorite video of all time. That's why I bought this, and I bought a couple other things. Like I bought a hoodie that he skated in that video.
I saw it on your Instagram. You have it framed.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna ask you about that. I thought it was just. You bought a remake, but now I know the story behind it too.
Yeah, I bought it the same way I bought this from that Garage Days.
That's rad.
But the only reason I'm willing to part with this is because it feels like it needs to be seen.
Yeah.
Even I think it looks cool. It's a piece of history, and
I mean that's a.
It's 95X. I was only 5 years old.
This is gonna be our kick switch flip Manny right here on the show. It's just gonna be here. It's gonna be in the background for.
I should have got you a sign or something. But yeah, the 95. Shout out to those X Games because that was when skating around in Huntington Beach. Believe it or not, back then I was getting like people were throwing stuff out their cars at me. They did not like skateboarders at all. 2,000 plus students at my school. There was a few skaters and we all got hated on. But when the X Games came out, like it flipped the switch overnight. People were like, "Woo!" They would yell out their windows. Yeah, you know what I mean. And so I was like,
kickflip.
Getting some respect here. Nice. Thanks, X Games.
It's kind of like how like the Olympics are doing that again now for skateboarding, where it's even accepted as like by like higher class individuals. Who think
it's not frowned upon as much anymore.
Yeah, now you're getting those baseball parents, but in skateboarding, where they're like, "My kid's got to skate. He's got to be the best."
Yeah. It's come back around again, and just the mainstream about it just kind of brings everybody around. That's rad, man. That's gonna be a staple here on the show for sure.
Definitely.
I appreciate that very much, Ryan. Man,
awesome.
Thank you, man. Dude, do you have any questions before we get out of here?
No, I think I asked my questions that I was intrigued
I think
about.
we got a lot of good info, man, because I hope the old buddies enjoy this show. I'm sure they will. So shout out to all of them out there.
Shout out. I'm looking forward to your guys' episodes.
Yeah. You got any shout outs before we get out of here?
Yeah, shout out my wife again, and my dogs, and everybody who skates.
Shout out. Shout out. You have any shout outs?
I just want to thank Ryan for coming by. It's cool to finally meet you, man. You have a great, interesting story. You're a cool person.
Thanks.
Even on your Instagram, I see some pretty cool stuff. So I once again, thank you for coming by, telling your story.
Yeah, thanks. It was great meeting all of you.
Yes,
definitely.
Thank you, man.
It would have been cool if Listo would have been
I know.
here.
Listo.
He would have enjoyed you.
Yeah.
I'm only an hour away. I'm sure I'll be back up here sometime.
Yeah, anytime, man. You're welcome back anytime. You know, like I said, we got the mini ramp. I don't know if you skate transition or not, but you could always learn. We got the flat ground in the front. Dude, anytime you want to come back, man. If you got any other stories, you know, we could always do a part 2.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to be having that coming up in the future, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll be having people come back. It's not going to be one and done here.
Yeah.
You know, our goal is to maybe try to get a year in. If we do interview anybody, it's not gonna be like a Thursday show. It'll be like just maybe like Listo is gonna be dropping a part. By this time the episode drops, the part should have already dropped. So I hope you had fun dropping your part, Listo.
Yeah. Me and him are working on it together right now. I'm doing all the editing. He's coming by my house, we sit together, working on the music, how he wants his part to look.
Oh, awesome.
So it's gonna be a good thing. Dropping it for his birthday. It's July 15th.
July 15th, yes, sir. And this episode comes out 7/20. So maybe all of us can get a 7/20 trick. We'll just spin in one circle though. Don't.
No, we're taking it to the mini ramp.
No way.
Someone's doing a 720 on the mini ramp.
No way. Well, somebody, not gonna be me.
We just tie a string to a tree, and then when you come up, just hold yourself.
I'll try it on flat ground.
It's green, so maybe we can
green screen it.
Green screen it. All right. Again, I want to thank Ryan Kulla for coming in. Make sure to go follow him on Instagram, everybody. Check out his story. Go follow him on our Kulla Street as well. Don't you have another Instagram as well?
Who knows?
Okay. Well,
they come and go.
Check his tags and his bird watching and all that stuff. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. We love to interview skateboarders on the show. If you ever want to be on the show, let us know. Hit us up on Instagram at Where the Locals Sk8, or you could send us a comment down below. Make sure to hit that like button. It helps the show out. Please share it out. Please tell a friend. Hit that notification bell so you know when we're doing our thing. Follow us on our email, or check us out. Send us an email at wheretheleocalsk8@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of information in there. I'm OG_Skateshow on Instagram. Thank you to my team. Thank you to everybody tuning in once again. Till next time, peace.